Hello guys, VR English here, coming at you from No Limits Gaming, showing you Wasteland Cold-Blooded Flawless Nuke in Team Deathmatch. Bit of a mouthful, so let's go with Wasteland Cold-Blooded. So what am I using? I'm using the UMP Silenced. It's the only weapon I would recommend with a silencer and Cold-Blooded. Beautiful gun as it goes. And with that, I'm using one-man army. I only stick with cold-blooded, except for a small part of the game where I use danger close just to call in the chopper gunner. I am using stuns, claymores. I'm using stopping power. Oh no, I wish I was using stopping power pro. I was using ninja pro. And I'm flanking around the non-domination B side. So there's a structure in the middle, and it's in a kind of T shape, and I'm going around the side that isn't the T shape through the parked cars and the broken house. I always flank this side if I'm not using a sniper, and I'm using cold-blooded specifically because this map is the most thermal friendly map in the game. Because of the way we've done this, the spawn point for them right now is behind the domination B point that I previously mentioned in the T at the line part of the T, near the tank by the stagnant pond, and they spawn around there. As you can see, with cold-blooded you run out of ammo pretty quick, so the one-man army is pretty useful. If not, I'd recommend scavenger, because this map is quite easy to blow a lot of ammo, because it's not always so easy to use the iron sights from range with the UMP. As you can see, I'm always trying to flank back, and it's important to, in these game types, I'm showing you the first map where I really don't sit anywhere at all, throughout the map at all, until this point where I get the Harriers, and it's the first Nuke I've shown you where the air support does a bit of, the Harriers do a bit of work. I called the Harriers on Domination B because I used, basically, one good way of looking at where you think the enemies are going to be for a Harrier strike is they're going to be where your team isn't. Because if your team are there and they're not shooting each other, there's clearly something going wrong. So I plant my claymores as a distraction, and people do run through that corner, but people will also be looking near the claymores for a person. So I'm lying in a bush, a little bit way out. If people know to look in this bush, then you may want to be careful. But it's far enough out that you won't even be seen via people just scrolling in that general direction. And people would never be zooming in that part of the map with a thermal sniper. So it's safe to use the danger close class. It's worth that, and I don't get the nuke here with the chopper gunner. There's clearly quite a lot of the video left. Because the Harriers may have done some work, but the chopper gunner definitely doesn't do as much as it could do. It's worth noting that whilst I'm in the chopper gunner, I should talk about the spawn points really quick. So they're spawning at the disused helicopter, but my teammates have worked that out, the green guys that I'm not actually playing with. So they're rushing that, and as they're rushing that, the spawns are going to change. So they can either spawn up by where they're spawning right now, by the disused cars and all the trash, and then they spawn by the stagnant tank that I was telling you about before. So switch back to the cold-blooded class, and you want to continue doing the flank as if nothing had happened before. Got a bit lucky there, as the guy clearly hadn't been killed by my chopper gunner, so I hadn't gone to explore that area after having been killed by it. Or maybe he had, and maybe he just wasn't quite sure where it was. But as you can see, I'm continuing the flank. I'm using my teammates on the radar. You can see that they're near the middle, and there's quite a lot of action near the middle. So they're probably by the disused cars and near the helicopter, but after this guy there will no longer be anyone near the helicopter since I'm running towards that way. We'll say that unless you're playing ground war, I would never recommend using the AC-130 on this map, as it actually goes above some of their spawn points, so you literally just can't shoot at them. And despite the fact that you can take another stinger, that really doesn't help if you can't shoot at anyone who's shooting at you. When you're doing a flank around the map using the UMP Silence class, it's actually important to make sure you go around the map. You shouldn't cut corners by going along the middle, because that's just the sort of time when you get shot and caught out, because you're a lot more visible there. On the outside, you are just as visible, but you're a lot further away from the action. And this tiny bit here is I'm breaking off from the flank, since I've been a little bit reckless in that. There could be a cold-blooded guy behind me, but I'm using the UAV to my advantage. And I will say now that you see I look at the middle, see people there on UAV, but I deliberately don't run in, because unless you have complete map control of the middle, there's no point ever going there if you're on a streak, unless you're 100% sure you're going to get a kill. So there I was definitely sure that I was behind the guy, so I get the nuke. Now I'm free to do whatever I want since I've got the nuke, but I would never ever recommend going in there unless you're definitely sure you're going to get the kills you need and you've got the advantage. Say for example, if you're being one of those people who camp the other side of the middle, where the T junction lines up where I'm looking right now, and you're lying prone just looking at it. It's a bit tense this time as I call the nuke in at 7,400, but I kind of did that to prove a point, because you hear one of my teammates screaming at the end of the video, don't get any more kills, don't get any more kills, but once the nuke is called in, you can get as many kills as you like as it stops the score, which is why ultimate sacrifice is possible to do. So there you go, that's 33 and 1, or it was a flawless before I called the nuke in. Hope you liked the gameplay commentary. Tried to be a little bit more back to basics, back to what I used to be this time. Let me know if you liked it. Last 30 seconds you don't have to watch, but I'm just saying a little bit of a thank you to one of the people I met on the Infinity Ward forums called Bound, as he stuck up for me when I was posting my first few videos. I appreciate that a lot. So if you do something similar, I'm sure I will do the same. But I recorded this a long time ago and I never said thanks. So thanks, Bound. All the best, guys. Be English.